Do you like your vampire action films trying to ice skate uphill with repetitive slow-motion walking shots, Halloween store-quality fangs and contacts, rejected Deadpool one-liners, and fanboy comedian Patton Oswalt showing up in a forgettable 3-scene cameo? We've got all that and much, much more as Scary Turds Month continues with Blade Trinity. And before we flush it, we're going to take it out and play with it a little. Restroom Cinema. We're here to flush it, so you don't have to see it. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Scary Turds. October is our month-long celebration of some of the worst horror-themed turds ever made. I am Honor Knight, your headless cinematic flusher, right here in the restroom. As always, I'm joined by my freaky co-cinematic flushers, Groovy Ghoulie, Colleen Griffin.
Boo, boo, boo.
And dastardly diabolical Norcrest.
I want to suck your blood.
Also joining us as part of our extended co-flushing team this time out are content creator Boo Scary Sara Polton.
I'm a monster. Yeah. I'm not hungover at all today.
And BlokeBusters podcast host Paul the Vampire Hawk Hawkins. It sounded like somebody just let air out of his tires. Jesus.
Yeah, what's the problem?
And quick congratulations to Paul's wife for kicking out a brand new baby recently. Congrats, Paul. Hope it won't turn out to be either Rosemary's Baby or that dick kid from The Omen. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Very
yes,
good.
I put in a lot of time and effort into that.
About the same amount of time and effort I put into that joke about your kid. So, there you go. Paul Hawkins' butler Jeeves has spent some time at our stall, and he has read the writing on the restroom wall regarding this week's Scary Turd. Take it away, Jeeves.
Hello again, Mr. Knight and friends. It's been too long. I hope you've enjoyed Jeffrey just as much as I have, especially its effect on the young master. One of my favorite little jokes I've managed to play. Anyway, this film stars the tax-dodging Wesley Snipes, Ryan Reynolds before he was funny, and the easy-on-the-eyes Jessica Biel, among others. It had a box office of $128.9 million, despite only costing $65 million to make. I'm not quite sure where they found that money, but oh well, probably from Mr. Snipes' bank account. And wait.
Ooh, the Master Scarer strikes again. See you again soon.
Jeffrey. Well, it's campy, sure, but the Master's mother and I quite enjoy it. I look forward to seeing what you guys think of it. Farewell for now, brave flushers.
Film should have been called either Blade Tax Evader or Vampire Lives Matter. Or grab him by the fangs.
Oh, there we go. Hey-o.
Wow, all right.
Blade sucks.
That's a little too on the nose, though, Griff. I don't know if we can let that. It's a little too on the fang.
When I saw the Marvel thing come up, I was like, oh yeah, back when Marvel did R-rated film. Probably that they're not trying to do that anymore.
Right. Well, and then you're like, and then you hear Ryan Reynolds, and you're like, oh, is this Deadpool? Oh, no.
No, yeah, and we got a lot to say on that one.
I thought this was Deadpool. Like, I literally was like, oh no, I bought the wrong movie. And I was like, crap. I had to like.
Why does he have a beard? Right.
A little too much Van Wilder in there for
There's a lot of Van Wilder.
Wasn't full Deadpool. It was still a little. It was like Vanpool.
Anyone remember when New Line Cinemas actually made good movies? They made a shit ton of money on the Lord of the Rings stuff and some other, and Freddy Krueger and all that stuff. And man, oh man, I don't know what happened. Because then they ended up doing this.
They had some real trash bombs too.
A lot of trash bombs. Garbage Pail Kids, wasn't that theirs?
Oh, come on, that's even below us.
Why?
I mean, that's
You know what? Sarah's already hungover.
Yeah, we don't want to make it any worse. The Marvel Studios logo, as Paul mentioned just a moment ago, is a pre-Iron Man reminder. Their films used to suck. Not only were they R-rated, but they were terrible. Pun intended on that suck joke. But all right.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that a little too on the nose, Honor?
I'm a little offended because I like this movie.
People on social media were telling me, like, all my friends,
I actually love that movie. That's like one of my favorite movies.
I believe our own.
I wouldn't go that far.
Isn't our own Degenerate John? Didn't he was giving you shit about it?
One of my childhood friends was like, "Oh, I love that movie," and it's like, did you guys not go to see it in the theater then? Because
exactly.
This movie is basically considered a universal failure.
But everybody knows the movies were full of shit. Just like Ryan Reynolds has a career with this pre-Deadpool voiceover. Again, you know how much A, I hate unnecessary narration film, and B, if you're, it's basically Deadpool. Now I know Chris said it's a little too on the side of Van Wilder. He hasn't, but I think this was the proving ground, right? I think this is one of the films where he got in here to work towards Deadpool.
This was like his audition tape for Deadpool, and maybe that's why it took so long to actually get Deadpool made.
It could be, because, Deadpool was 12 years later. It took him an extra 12 years from this film.
12 years ago, no studio could have made Deadpool R rating or not, because people would have not gone to see it. It took all of those years and all the other superhero movies to sort of like blaze the trail.
But it's so weird because this film is a Marvel film and it was R-rated, and a lot of people did go to see this film. And
no, I know, I'm not even talking about the R-rating aspect. I'm just talking about the fact that Marvel movies at this time period weren't as popular as they are now.
Syrian Desert, where all the great vampire flicks begin, right, guys? 1 minute mark. Let's truck it out to Iraq. Where we got to. Looks like the production got a real sweet package deal for use of those Blue Cloud Ranch helicopters and desert location.
Oh man!
Was anybody fooled at all that they were in Iraq and not in Southern California?
Is it Zero Dark Blade, where they is Bin Laden actually a vampire and they were trying to hunt him down?
That would have been a better storyline.
Actually, I would watch that.
So there's a bunch of helicopters they land, and they're vampires, but they're fully clothed because they have to be out in the daylight, and they're wearing these fucked up helmets and stuff like that. And the one turns around, and I wonder if that vampire was giving the finger to the sun or the director at the hour and 30-minute mark.
Right.
He didn't direct the first two, right? No, he didn't direct the first one, right?
No, actually, he read. But okay, the director from the second one, he read this. He was originally going to do it. He read the script, hated it so much that he backed out.
Just like a cheap lover. How did this crappy-looking Mayan temple from Dusk Till Dawn series get relocated to the Syrian desert? Man, bad compositing, guys. 2-minute mark.
I mean, this was just like styrofoam with cheap shit carved in it and then like spray painted.
Well, was it a miniature or was it a CGI? What the hell? I don't know if it was CGI, but it was either a model or it was a really bad plate, like they do those glass plates.
It feels like the abandoned set from The Fifth Element. It's like they got it out of storage and were like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those sets they keep in like a warehouse, like the Indiana Jones warehouse that they just wheel out and just reassemble inside. All right, looks like a tomb.
No, it was in a Planet Hollywood somewhere. In the Planet Hollywood business.
The stupidest thing about this whole thing is, I looked it up. The Syrian desert is relatively flat. There's sod all there. If there was an ancient temple, people would have been there years before this.
Right?
There would have been archaeologists everywhere.
Because this is the cradle of civilization, actress Parker Posey, now we should mention these 4 vampires go into this styrofoam Mayan temple and start rooting around because we're not sure what they're looking for, but we're going to find out really quick. And she says because this is the cradle of civilization. Actress Parker Posey looks like she just strolled out of a goth nightclub hosting a Halloween event, or any goth nightclub on a random Tuesday for that matter. 3-minute mark. Terribly miscast in this role. I like Parker Posey. We all agree Parker Posey is a talented actress. She didn't know what she was doing.
You know what she was doing? She was doing The Craft meets Blade. And
really?
Is that what it was? Really hard.
Whoever picked out that lipstick for her should be shot.
Thank you. Thank you.
That color belongs to no one.
She looks like a sad Hot Topic manager.
I had a note from later in the film when you saw all of them together, and it was just, who decided to make all the vampires in this film just moody wankers?
They are. They're
I think
very.
we're taking a note from Tom Cruise's performance in Interview with the Vampire.
There's a lot of whining in this film. We'll talk about that.
There's too many whiny vampires. Somebody needs to make a non-whiny vampire movie.
Yeah, nobody's happy to be a vampire.
That's what I'm attracted to, is a whiny vampire.
Whiny vampires.
Yeah, I have like a whiny vampire fetish.
Pro tip, guys, if you suddenly drop your UV lantern, it will not create a strobe effect to hide a stuntman flailing about in a crappy foam latex suit. The 4-minute mark. We don't even know how they unearthed this thing. They're looking for the vampire numero uno.
No, they don't even push any buttons.
No,
they
don't do
say
anything.
Incantation, nothing.
They read some writing on a wall. There's some vampire script on a wall. And then the guy pops out of the floor. Well, he bites a head off like one of the other vampires, which, okay.
Right.
And then he pops out of the floor, starts flailing about like he fell out of a boat.
and you just can't
I would have liked it much better if they lit some candles and they had like a whole little seance.
Or do it like
they had to sacrifice like a baby over the altar or something. You know, like something gruesome that would have made sense that you're resurrecting the original vampire. It's like they just stumbled into the room like drunk assholes.
Right. They are. They're coming out of the club.
Like me getting home last night.
Think for a second. They just taken a half second to flesh this sequence out. No pun intended. If they didn't show the vampires' faces and we didn't know they were vampires in this opening sequence, and do a whole Indiana Jonesy sequence where they have to go through booby traps and all this other stuff, you don't know, and then they get to the end, and then you find out they're vampires. You don't know. So if they'd done that, I think it would have drawn the audience in. But they tipped their hat right off the bat. They all pull off their helmets and start showing off those stupid ass fangs. We'll talk about those. And any suspense is lost. And this guy comes up he's coming up out of a toilet, starts flailing about. Okay, I'm already aggravated.
Full-on list.
Welcome to Greater Vancouver, where we'll now spend the remainder of the running time because of some great tax incentives for the production 4-minute mark. Unnamed city, folks. I had to look it up to find out where they filmed, and I found out, just Ryan Reynolds' backyard, basically.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds got a percentage of the tax breaks. I think that's what he got paid in. It was probably more than they were going to pay him anyway.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, they probably got tax breaks because, Wesley Snipes wasn't paying his.
No, but I'm bum.
Savage.
She'll be here all week. Speaking of that, perpetually constipated Wesley Snipes is forced to perform his opening obligatory badass fight scene montage over the annoying opening credits. Film is nearly 2 hours long, and they couldn't bother to separate the two. 5-minute mark. I really hate to see an innocent film. Either show the scene or show the credits. Don't keep stopping the action to do a freeze frame of stupid shit.
This was the problem why Marvel films overall weren't popular. They did this constantly in their films. They did it in Daredevil. They did it in Spider-Man. They kept doing these weird cut scenes in the beginning while they're giving you the credits instead of just giving you whatever. We're in the movie theater. We're watching a movie. I know I'm not reading a comic book.
Well, I think they gave too many opening credits. I think you're right. If they just said Blade Trinity and had his face, freeze it, say Blade Trinity, and then that's it would have been fine.
Boom.
Snipes' ridiculous leather vampire killing ensemble makes him look more like a pimp with each less successful sequel. In the first film, thought he was decked out okay. Made sense. The second one, all right, we're getting a little sketchy, but it's Guillermo del Toro. We'll forgive it. Third one, hey, pimp.
You like the first one's costume?
I thought that, as opposed to this Wayne Brady pimp he does here in the third one. Yeah, I thought the first one was fine. I think that they really got, come on, with the red lining guys inside come on.
Yeah, and the main problem is I think they were trying to go for everyone else's uniform is not very practical for physical fighting and protecting
yourself. Neither is his though.
No, that's the thing. He says something to them about not very practical, is it? It's like you're basically wearing a cheap version of a Batman suit and then a giant leather coat.
It's not practical at all. Right. That's a very good point.
The problem was, in the Matrix, when Neo wears the trench coat, it made sense because he had it lined with guns. So it had a purpose, right? Here, it just weighs him down.
And the sword's on his back anyway. He's not hiding anything.
Yeah, he's not hiding several guns in there. So it's it's just for show.
Exactly.
And it looks silly.
If you have to undercrank the camera to accompany the turbo boost in your blade car, it's going to end up looking like either A, an old Batman episode, or B, sadly, an old Benny Hill episode at the 7-minute mark. God, do we really need to undercrank the camera to get the sense of speed? Can't they do that in another way that makes it at least less obvious? I don't know, guys. It's so cheap. It's such a cheap gag in a big budget film that, the budget on this is $65 million, and we're doing gags like this? Come on.
Yeah, but how much of that went to Wesley Snipes' salary?
And how much did he pay in taxes on it?
None. Yeah, exactly. About as much as Donald Trump pays.
Oh!
Heyo.
Snipes CGI kills each vampire with all the excitement of filling out a tax form. Heyo! All right, yeah, you got ties right into that previous joke, doesn't it?
This is soiled restroom taxes.
But it's true. He looks so disinterested in doing anything in this film. And I guess we were talking off mic about he had a problem working on this film, right? He had issues with his cast members.
Ryan Reynolds told Patton Oswalt, just keep your head down and you might survive.
Damn.
Don't worry about talking to Wesley Snipes. Just stay far away from him when you don't have to be near him, and you might survive this.
That's crazy. Obviously, I don't know. I guess he was there because he was contractually obligated, because I guess he signed up for 3, and he was maybe forced to do this one. I don't know.
No, he still wants to do more. He's just that he had gotten.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we don't want it. I know. The exterior Blade's hideout looks like a Red Lobster that went out of business at the 11-minute mark. And who was the other one who had it? Was it Joe's Crab Shack? I guess we can go through a whole litany of, we go to Joe's High Tide Harry's. Anybody's got any shitty ass seafood shack. This is what it looks like. They couldn't find a better location, really, in Greater Vancouver to put his secret hideout. And why is it in like the most obvious place?
A secret hideout is a place that's really sexy. It's mysterious. Right. It's hard to find. Joe's Crab Shack is not any of those things.
Like, Whistler, get all these Cheddar Bay biscuits the hell out of here. I gotta have somewhere to put my guns and my throwing stars. You're getting reckless, Blade. Chris Christopherson sounds like he just had a mild stroke before filming. He is not well in this. And somebody we talked about, we did establish he is still among the living.
Yeah,
in 2016.
He's still alive.
He is still alive. He must be old. Like, really old.
But you know what? The thing is that he's never been the best actor anyway. And so this really shitty direction just made it, like, even worse because the dialogue, especially between him and Wesley, is so stunted. You know, you're like a son to me, boy.
What? And he sounds like he either got, like, he just took a huge bite of food and he started talking before he finished, he swallowed all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Was Sam Elliott not available for this? Because they're pretty much the same guy at this point.
Number one, Chris Christopherson is 80 years old.
So he is.
Yes.
But he wasn't 80
he would have been
years
late
old
60s at that time.
But he was,
all right.
He was
68.
Number two, you kind of skipped past it, but the footage that they shot of Blade running away to frame him, the footage he's watching later is a different shot. It's a different take of the same.
Right, there's only one angle because they do set Blade. And we should mention there's a big chase sequence. He ends up killing a human that was in the car with the vampires, that's in cahoots with the vampires. And Parker Posey, we saw at the very beginning film with some really fucked up hair. We'll mention that, videotaped it from one angle at a long shot about 300 yards back, 6 stories up. And somehow she got some great footage of him actually killing this kid. And they're trying to frame Blade for killing a human being. So that's why this whole sequence happens. Go ahead.
When he realizes what's happened, he kind of gets up, pauses, sorts himself out, and runs away. And you see her looking at her footage, and he gets up and runs. Like, there's no pause at all.
The continuity error is just...
Exactly.
And the only other thing I wrote down was that Chris Christopherson giving the "that's why we're still alive" speech, just like being careful. It sounded very much to me like the only 2 days to retirement.
Yeah. These work really good. That's really well, Blade. However, we're going to forgive you since it's difficult to pronounce anything with those fake teeth in your mouth. Jesus Christ. Now, he has a full prosthetic. Now, I'm going to mention this. Now, I'm going to talk about this for a second, that everybody has these fucked up prosthetics. There's a product, and it's a very simple product. It's called, I swear to God, it's called Scarecrow. Let's try it again. It's called Scarecrow Small Deluxe Fangs. They sell for $12.45 on Amazon, and they're simply 2 teeth, the 2 fang teeth that you mold to 2 of the teeth in your mouth. They're pliable, and you put them in, and you can still talk like a normal human being. What is in everybody's mouth in this? They have a full...
Just because
they have the Halloween store fake...
they gave Wesley Snipes the Steve Harvey fang.
Get out of my brain. I was just going to bring that up.
It is Steve Harvey. Like, he has a full, like, you know those fake teeth you used to get as a gift? You know?
But his mustache wasn't big enough. I mean, they could have just gone full, like, Steve Harvey Blade. And then that would have been a whole great thing. Like, if Kenan Thompson was doing Steve Harvey as Blade.
Steve Harvey's Blade.
I'd watch that movie right now.
We all would watch. In fact, that's a much better. Steve Harvey's Blade.
I'm going to kill you, player.
Obviously, for $12.45, they could have got some workable teeth that they wouldn't lose their pronunciation skills, like I do when I'm drunk. You know, they would look normal and talk normal, but everybody's got them. Everybody's got those same shit-ass teeth in their mouth, and they can't talk. Parker Posey can't say anything.
She's the worst. She is full on.
She is really bad with them.
Josie and the Pussycats lisp.
Jeez.
They do kind of sound like Dom DeLuise and her Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, we got a lead. Blade's FBI wanted poster hanging in that office is actually Wesley Snipes' wanted poster with the name switched out. 12-minute mark on that.
Yeah, how the hell did they get such good shots of Blade?
They do!
For that poster.
It's called production, sir. They made 3 films. Pull a still off anything. Does everyone get a slow-mo walking scene in this film? Parker Posey now looks like she's on her way to start her shift at Spencer Gifts around the 13-minute mark. Yeah, so she's
it's hot topic, okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's hot. Yeah, I keep getting the stores mixed up, but she's in a green skirt and walking down the stairs. First of all, there's no reason for that scene to be in slow motion, but okay.
And why do we have to have a close-up of her calves?
I don't understand.
If we cut out all of those slow motion scenes, this movie would be an hour and a half.
I think it was less than that, Polton. I think it's less than that, but all right. Yeah, I have a real issue with that for no reason. Blade gets one right at the beginning. We got to see him slow-mo walking or standing, whatever he's doing, and this chick does. But she has him. I understand because he's a star, and that's the iconic badass shout. I get it, but she's just walking downstairs. She's not doing anything badass.
It could have been Quentin Tarantino doing a guest shot there.
Yeah, it could have been. You shouldn't have woken me. Judging by how ridiculous Prison Break's Dominic Purcell looks in those Halloween store contacts, teeth, and gladiator outfit around the 15-minute mark, I think he was right. Jesus Christ. This guy is so miscast in this one. I guess the production couldn't afford to have Dracula in his natural form, that latex suit, for the entire running time, so we're just going to have this gay nightclub bouncer stand in for him for the bulk of it. It really is terrible. He looks terrible in this film.
He looks like that guy in your fraternity who probably deals steroids on the side.
Yeah, he looks very New Jersey. With
Jersey
the chain.
Shore.
Yeah, Jersey Shore. He's got that chain, and then also... You've been underground in Syria. You get out and you have a number 3 buzzed haircut.
Yeah, super
What's
cut.
with that? Can you give us a little shag?
And
you know what? I actually went through like Dominic Purcell's, IMDb, and I was like, maybe he just does all of his movies with a shaved head. And you know what? Like 90% of the films he does.
Really?
Yeah.
All about your hair.
It's really rare for him to have actual hair, and he has a luxurious hair. The man has a great head of hair.
Think he was taking HGH? You think he was just all roided up and his hair just wouldn't grow?
He's just a big guy. He's been being like that for a while in all of his everything. He's never been a small guy, and he was in John Doe, and that was a fantastic show. If you've never seen it, Netflix that.
Right. It was one season, and that's how he ended up getting cast in this. Was he was coming off John Doe? I wish, because I don't think he did really that great. I didn't really care for Prison Break. I like him. I like said John Doe. I think he's miscast. And I said, like, was Willem Dafoe not available for this role? This is pretty much something he would. Why couldn't they get somebody of grandeur like him or Bill Nye from the Underworld series?
They didn't want him to be an old guy. They wanted him to
there's
body
younger
morph into a hot young guy.
Right, but he's not hot and young. He's he's a roided up basketball coach or something. It just doesn't work.
No, I think Sarah nailed it. He's like Jersey Shore. He's a JTL vampire.
Is he DTS down the suck?
I've heard that.
If vampires existed, don't you think we would have found them by now? After 3 films? Yes. Eric Bogosian, if anybody remembers him, is doing that roundtable PBS thing where he's talking to the chief of police and some other bullshit, and they come up with this question. But it's, guys, it's a stupid question. And obviously, whoa, all right, somebody let one go. What the hell was
Paul's
that?
falling out of his chair.
Did Paul leave? Are
you okay, Paul?
All right, Paul, you good?
I'm good.
All right, stop.
Sure
whose chair was that?
Yeah, who the hell was that? Oh, no, see, nobody wants a cop to. Well, you guys are like Donald Trump. Nobody's going to apologize for that.
Somebody's podcasting from a ship in the ocean.
Damn it, Blade. Don't you see what they're doing? Christopherson delivers every one of his lines like he just read the script minutes before. Either that or he's suffering from a really bad hangover like Miss Polton here. So maybe that maybe is true. Maybe it was just, maybe he had a rough night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We can't win this war alone. So now we'll introduce 2 other characters in hopes of continuing this franchise. One Snipes goes to prison, 18-minute mark. I'm not going to mention him yet. We're going to mention one coming up right now. We already tipped our hat to the other one, Mr. Deadpool. But now we got to go here. Fuck you. Which is what the filmmakers were saying to the audience for showcasing actress Jessica Biel in an over-choreographed vampire fight sequence. Looks better suited to a Knott's Berry Farm stage show at the 20-minute mark. My God. And this it's a terrible sequence. Now, Jessica Biel plays Whistler, and she's Whistler's daughter, Chris Christopherson's daughter. She's a vampire killer, and there's a subway sequence where she pretends to be a homeless woman. First of all, how can we possibly let women have equal ground in films today when they're not even smart enough to tie their hair back during a fight sequence? God,
come on now.
It's true though. Look, I'm all for
annoying, but come on.
Tie your hair back. The only one who does that really is Laura Croft. Am I correct? She's the only one that ties her hair back in these female action roles.
No.
Who else?
Thurman had her hair tied back.
Did she? All right, we're gonna let that slide. Two out of 150 women that don't know how to tie their hair back.
Lucy Liu has her hair tied back when she's kicking butt. So
the only time you should have your hair down is like on the dance floor. Otherwise you just even when you're giving a blowjob, right? You guys tie your hair back, right?
Has a short haircut in the Avengers, so she doesn't have anything to tie back.
And most of the X-Men have their hair.
Yeah, they have their hair back. I mean, come on, this is like an exception here, and this was also
no, it's not.
Again,
it happens a lot.
2004, when they were not really getting.
If she's a trained fighter,
women in these action roles.
I agree with that, but if she's a trained fighter in terms of character, she would tie her hair back. First of all, Jessica Biel will still look very attractive with her hair tied back. It's not a deal breaker, guys. You're still fuckable at that point. Just tie your hair back.
Oh, for crying in a bucket. Are you kidding me right now? Are you trying to tell me that you've turned down sex with a woman because she had a ponytail?
No, I did not. I said she's still...
My goal at all times is to be fuckable, so that's why.
That's why your hair's down. Your hair's down right now.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like, should I risk my life? Should I risk my life?
Well, I keep my hair down. Yeah. Paul, you keep your hair down too, right, sir?
Oh yes, I keep it nice and flowing.
Okay, we'll move on.
Talk about how in every fight scene she puts headphones in. What if someone walks up behind you? Wouldn't you want to hear that?
No, you're dead.
That's the dumbest shit ever.
That's what I do when I'm cleaning my house.
You're not killing vampires?
Even then, I usually keep like one out in case like somebody's at the door or, I hear something fall.
I like the idea that she cannot fight unless she's listening to music. So if someone catches her, she's like struggling to get the headphones in time.
If your bowstring is a lightsaber, you're doing it wrong. 21-minute mark. Also, guys, this is easily the most powerful weapon in the film, and they only use it twice. How does she have
Can I just say, when she does it behind her back, and she's got her arm crooked around, she says very distinctly that this is like half the heat of the sun. I'm sorry, she would be on fire. It would
she would
be that
have
close to your body.
You can't.
Yeah, her arms would be like all marked up with third-degree burn.
Oh yeah,
she'd have already sliced her arm off like 3 times.
No, you can't do that with a lightsaber. You can't do that. All right. Get out, Blade! Christopherson Whistler character blows up real good around the 24-minute mark, and I'm sure Whistler's mother was very, very sad. Hey-oh.
Now we've just taken this back to the 1800s.
One of the things I really didn't understand about this scene is just before they run in to storm the place, they make the nets drop. Did they turn up earlier and rig it so that they could make it drop when they wanted to come in?
You're asking way too many questions. Oh, hey, we should mention this. What the scene I'm mentioning is they find out where Blade's Red Lobster hangout is, and they storm the hangout, and he destroys all the shit, the computers, and sets off these stupid traps, and he guns down quite a few of them, but as a result, he's overwhelmed, and him and Blade got to get out, and Blade gets free, and Whistler blows up. He just wanted to get out of the franchise.
That's a good
again.
Yeah. Exactly. Rise and shine, sleepyhead. Blade finds himself arrested and inside an interrogation room around the 25-minute mark, which is pretty much par for course for Wesley Snipes. Probably not the first time he's been there.
No, it was a preview.
That's true. He wasn't quite there yet. You're correct. My name is Edgar Vance, and now we know what the brilliant John Michael Higgins does to pay the bills when he's not appearing in a Christopher Guest mockumentary. 26-minute mark. What a waste of talent, guys. In fact, there's more than one, right? Christopher Guest?
Yeah, do you think he and Parker Posey just like went in their trailers and cried together?
I bet they did. Why are they in
this?
What
if they did like a Christopher Guest version, and then this is just the director's cut? Like there's just a full comedy version out there somewhere.
It'll be absolutely hysterical if they did a Christopher Guest version.
It would.
I hate familiars. Convenient that all humans working with the vampires have their own gang signs tattooed on their wrist, making them super easy to find at the 30-minute mark. What a dumb location to do that. Now, there's these humans that are working with vampires because they're basically their puppets because vampires sleep during the night, or during the day, I'm sorry. So all the humans got to do all their, just moving, restocking toilet paper and stuff like that. So, but they have these stupid tattoos on their wrist.
Where are they going to put it? On their butt? And then they got to put their butt
that would be awesome.
To get into the
I would watch that.
I would watch that.
Okay
that would be amazing.
And if you think about it, in the second film, they were trying to beat Blade by making the sigils on the buildings they use in UV light.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they do the same thing with the tattoos?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're asking way too many questions, Paul. Don't do that. Hello, my name is Fuck You. Film finally sparks the life with a bearded pre-Deadpool Ryan Reynolds cracking wise as a smart-ass vampire killer, Hannibal King, 32-minute mark. He never shuts up.
I wrote down, I think they should have every new character have their name yelled out by another character. Because it makes introductions so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Hannibal King!
We should mention that Blade is being interrogated, and of course the familiars are, they drug him, and they're trying to extract information. Of course, Jessica Biel's Whistler character I mentioned earlier, and Hannibal King busts in to rescue him from a multi-story police office, I guess, or FBI office, whatever. Go! Yes, go Deadpool, so you can watch Snipes slow-mo walk down this hallway like he's appearing in a Kanye West video at the 33-minute mark. Again with the slow-motion walking.
And did anyone else notice that Blade apparently had an erection after he took that serum?
Did he really?
It looked very much like it.
I wasn't really looking at his dick, Paul, but all right, if you wanted to.
It was.
Apparently, you were
right
bored.
there.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It was zoomed in, honest.
I obviously missed that.
Of the five of us here, only Sara Polton and Paul Hawkins saw his dick.
Technically, my wife saw it, and.
No, you can't throw it on your wife. She's not on the show. That's all you, sir, and that's all right. We don't judge. No judgment. Oh man, I can't shoot around corners. Well, I can. By the time Jessica Biel unpacks that bow and sets up this ridiculous shot, the two of them would have been dead already. Jesus Christ, who waits around to get killed all fancy like? Little Firefly
and
dialogue.
Apparently, Whistler is both Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, you're right. She is a combo of those two, isn't she? I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right. And she can't do either one. That's the worst part. She's terrible at both jobs.
I said my theory was that part of the inspiration was the Hunger Games was Suzanne Collins watching this and going, "Okay, you deserve a better female heroine with a bow."
Oh, she was terrible. It really wasn't until the Hunger Games before the bows became trendy. And Hawkeye, I'm sorry, we go with the Marvel films as well.
But a bow is a long-range weapon. It's
not a close quarters.
It's not good for quick hand-to-hand combat.
You're absolutely correct on it.
Even Legolas didn't use it like that.
We call ourselves the Night Stalkers. And then I wrote, ha, 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 with an exclamation point on the end. Because it sounds really stupid, guys.
No, it sounds like something hosted by Chris Hansen.
And for the record, guys, there was only one Night Stalker. His name was Karl Kochek. Paul, you got that reference? Nobody got that.
No.
Oh, okay, you guys, god damn it. I got to get an older crew. You guys are way too young for these jokes. I should have ripped his bleeding heart out when I had the chance. Here's what Paul was talking about. Evil vampire scene hits Tim Burton levels of comedic weirdness from some unknown reason around the 40-minute mark. What is going on in this scene? It's not fun. One guy's pulling his Triple H. I guess that's the one guy pulling an arrow out of his eyeball. While what's her name is breaking the table. It's a weird scene. It's a very Tim Burton-esque sequence. It's not funny.
And apparently Whistler ran out of UV arrows when she shot that guy. Because she used a UV arrow on every other vampire except for Triple H.
But weren't they all like silver arrows anyway? Why did they have to be UV arrows? Wouldn't the silver do it?
Right,
I don't know. See, this is what I'm saying. There's too many ways to kill vampires in this movie.
And then my final note on this awful scene was, why does the villain lair look like the top floor of a science center? That's never explained. What location they are, why it looks so whacked out. It's a studio, but I guess there was a CG. I don't know if that's an actual building. Has anybody figured out if that's a building in Vancouver?
Apparently it was used afterward in another show.
So that's an actual place.
That set, yeah.
The set. Place. Maybe it's just a set. Maybe they just kept, recycling sets.
They said the set was actually used later on in something else.
So it is a set. All right, because it looks really stupid, and we'll talk about that. This is where the climax takes place later on, folks. Hang in there. Unlike regular vampires, her fangs are located in her vagina. Reynolds desperately needed his own rim shot to make this horrible dialogue sound even remotely funny. 41-minute mark. I'm betting that was an ad lib. I don't know if that was Goyer can write that kind of stuff.
I think it was, given the amount of silence that followed it.
Yeah, nobody was laughing on screen or off.
Is this a bad time to tell you guys that my grandma was flipping through the TV and turned on the movie Teeth? And watched the whole thing.
That's
Oh, no.
Wow, your grandma rocks.
She said, I wish I had some of those teeth in my vagina. That way I could cut a pecker off if he got too close.
Oh, man.
Your grandma is spicy.
Next week, we're going to have a brand new co-cinematic flusher, Sarah's grandma.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Grandma Lois is real spicy. She's spicy, real racist.
That's what we. We definitely want her on this show. Then
sounds like the dad's hat. My dad's hat.
I think I'm going to start a new podcast with your grandma. I got
on a need, and you can.
I need That's what I need. Yeah, more racism on the show.
Hey, you said you wanted older people.
That's right. I did. I think I just
to an older demographic.
I think I just solved my problem. All right, give me your number. We'll make that happen. And now they call him Drake. Not to be confused with recording artist Drake, although they share roughly the same amount of talent and wardrobe at the 42-minute mark.
I want Hotline Bling playing in the background for the rest of the movie.
Did anyone else have an issue with at one point where they was like, we found this little tiny piece of armor and we figured out how his entire suit of armor looked based on that? How the fuck did they do that?
I know. How did they figure out the chest plate from a forearm piece?
Well, it's not even that. It was just it was like a 2-inch piece of anything. It was a rock. You don't know what that was. You couldn't tell.
What kind of machines are you running this through?
They found him in Iraq 6 months ago, and he was pissed. And now we're treated to a hastily assembled YouTube video montage of satanic images, followed by Renaissance fair-clad Dominic Purcell strolling through the streets of Vancouver with a rap song blaring over the soundtrack. Not a Drake song, by the way. 43-minute mark. And also Purcell, he's using Perel while he's walking around, keeps walking around like he has a bleeding ulcer. He's not walking right.
I mean, it's a good thing he's immortal because he takes ages to walk anywhere.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's the other thing. Well, yeah, when you got a bleeding ulcer or something jammed up your ass, you're not going to walk too fast. Anyway, they're basically
that was actually the best scene in the movie where he sees the Dracula stuff and then he goes in with the two lame, wannabe goth kids eating Count Chocula. And then
it was such a cheap
tears
joke.
them a new one because they're desecrating him. I thought that was good.
I like this scene.
Okay, if you want to take issue with two kids.
Yeah, and put his face on a dildo.
If you want, well, that was kind of funny. But if you
I
want
was pissed about that too.
Yeah, who's going to come at any woman with that? I mean, come on.
And also, how would he know what that was?
Come on, it's not even a practical dildo. I mean, some guy
They
busted
had
out.
those back in the day.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna.
4,000 years ago.
Yeah, they had him in ancient Egypt, not with his face on him, but
They had him in Hot Topic.
They sold slutty togas.
and temporary tattoos of hieroglyphs.
Right. We call it Daystar. Orange is the New Black. Natasha Lyonne shows up around the 46-minute mark, unfortunately playing a boring blind chemist who, instead of a far more entertaining role of a sighted lesbian prisoner. Though I get no lesbo action in this film.
This
she was
was
terrible
right
in this
before
too.
she went off the deep end for a while and
she did?
almost died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was on drugs. She was on hardcore drugs.
Oh, shit.
And she got hepatitis and
Oh my
almost
God.
died.
Well, that's why she's wearing the glasses, because her eyes are probably bloodshot for the filming. We have a wide assortment of ass kickery. Man, no, this is where it gets really sad. Comedian Patton Oswalt looks like he just wandered onto the set by mistake, and the production gave him some lines to say because they were desperate to finish this expositional dump around the 47-minute mark. Why is he in the film, guys?
He said he is a legit deep diving hardcore comic book.
So in
fan.
addition to being an insanely talented comedian who I have seen live, he's basically a comic nerd. Is what you're saying?
Oh, but he's he really is his mind is a library of these things and factoids. So he probably joined this movie because he was like, oh, I get to be in this movie of this comic book character that I love. So, that's what makes it additionally painful to watch. Is that you
He's not in a cool film. He's not in a cool film. He's in a...
Well, but you understood his motivations for wanting to be a part of it.
Okay, I can understand. I can accept that. It's a shame, too, because, but he's not given anything funny to do, and he's not able to improvise. That's what really kills the scene.
Most of the cast is just talented comedians that have just been totally wasted.
Yeah, well, or actors. You're right, though. You're right.
But funny actors.
No, but you're referring to the two from Christopher Guest films, and yes, they are talented and funny. Snipes can be very funny. We should have done a drinking game of how many times take a drink every time he speaks a line. You'd probably be sober by the end of it because he barely says anything in this film.
He has less than 100 sentences in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's ridiculous. For a guy who can run his mouth, especially in White Man Can't Jump, who's very funny, he barely said 100 lines. Really?
They basically turned him into Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator.
They did.
And he just had the punchline.
She's making playlists. Whoa! Welcome to 2004 when playlists were still a thing. So was drinking and talking. Wish I had a playlist to listen to instead of this god-awful dialogue. Or my dialogue. Holy shit. Nobody does playlists anymore, right, guys? Nobody does that. You put your earbuds in and go. Anybody do playlists? Maybe I'm dating.
I do on. Yeah, I do on
2004. Yes.
No, I'm talking now, Chris. I'm talking now. I'm not
She's holding an original iPod. That thing was $10,000 or whatever.
Was it really? Oh man. Paul did a playlist for his wife when she was giving birth and included Salt and Pepper's "Push It." I know. Oh, that was super cheap, but you get what you pay for, folks. It's a free podcast. What the fuck? Split screen fight sequence montage goes into effect around the 50-minute mark, making the film play out like an old policewoman episode. Boy, I just dated myself there. You get soft Jello and pudding with this show, folks, because only people in nursing homes are listening now. Holy shit! And your grandmom, Polton, your grandmom's listening. Another awesome slow-mo walking shot around the 52-minute mark. This explains why the running time is nearly 2 hours. Mentioned this earlier. Without these shots, Polton said it would have been an hour and a half. I'm going to go with a 30-minute short. If you took all the slow-motion shots, you're not going to have shit to show at this point. That extends the running time. That's a cheap gag to extend the running time. That's an actual thing that has been used in many old films, and I think it is done here. I don't know why the film had to be 100 and, I don't know, it's nearly 2 hours, but...
There's a British TV show called Dark Place, which the idea is that it was a TV show that this guy made that was way too advanced for its time, and he's finally able to show it to you. And one of the episodes they have slow motion running, and it's not actually slow motion running, it's the people pretending to do slow motion running. And the guy says, like, well, we actually came in at about 12 minutes and we had to stretch it, so this is why everyone's slow motion.
Exactly. It's a cheap gag. It is used, but it seems to be used a little too much here, and that's what I'm calling bullshit on it. Go on, Blade, show me what you're made of. Man, if this vampire foot chase scene has some parkour in it, it'd be totally badass. 54-minute mark. They meet, and then they take off running through Greater Vancouver, through walls and windows and up and down. No parkour, no like, a Steve Carell parkour scene from The Office. We don't get anything fun. It's just a lot of running through walls. What is it? Parkour. Remember they're going up on dumpsters and stuff? Like, you don't get any of that fun stuff here. It's just it's like Casino Royale without the parkour.
The chase scene at the end of Star Trek Into Darkness was actually
terrible.
Better.
Yeah.
Whoa. And that was just a whole bunch of full-out sprints.
I'm tired. Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but also Blade technically stole a purse during the scene as well.
Did he really?
Yeah, because Drake bumps into someone and throws the purse at Blade. Blade catches it, but doesn't give it back.
Oh, did he?
That's rude. That's weird.
So anyway, they finally meet on top of a building, and he says, I was the first vampire. And why couldn't Purcell just give this expositional dump without all the running around? Why didn't they just have that scene before they started running? If he just said everything, because he's told that he steals a baby, Snipes steals a purse, and Drake steals a baby that he threatens to throw off the top of this roof, which Snipes catches, no big fucking deal. But they have this huge scene here that could have been done without all this. They could have just had one of those intellectual villain scenes like in a Bond movie and left it at that. Why do we need this point? It's a pointless action scene because there's no payoff to it. It's just
I think they just really like stairs.
Was this like the inspiration for CrossFit?
So after they have this quick fight scene, and there's the three of them, Jessica Biel was there and Hannibal King, and then it was Blade chasing this idiot all over the city. They lose, I guess, that scene. So, you have Jessica Biel, and they go back to their compound, the Red Lobster, I'm sorry. No vampire action film would be complete without a naked woman in the shower scene. You're welcome. 59-minute mark for you guys who just want to fast forward right to that.
That's what I look like when I'm on my period.
Oh, man. Polton with the...
But this was very...
Polton with the win. Yeah, that's pretty much...
That actually does answer the question I had, because I was wondering, how exactly did she get that bloody? But there we go.
But
wow.
But this was super risque for her at the time, because she was still on Seventh Heaven, and this actually caused a gigantic stir.
Was it? Did it really? Was this a big deal, really? This scene? Because she's barely nude. I mean, you can...
No, you don't see anything. You don't even see side boob. You almost see her...
A little hoo-ha. There's a little hoo-ha, but not much. A little mango there. Again, there's always that scene where they have to reflect. And no, first of all, nobody ever does. First of all, I'm not sitting put my ass on that shower floor. That's disgusting. Like, have you been in one of these public showers? It's a shower of a Red Lobster. Nobody's doing that. Cheddar Bay biscuit crumbs going down past your ass. Nobody's doing that. It's gross. Vampire final solution. So now they find out through a series of all these running around scenes and beating up familiars gave the location of what the vampires are really up to. There's an end game to this, and not just having this Drake guy back Delta and vampire. They need him for one reason, but the real reason is they've been harvesting people. So for more than just eating and killing. Here we go. Vampire final solution. That's what Blade kicks out when he finds this warehouse in New Jersey. Solution being a shitload of victims stored in Ziploc bags and hanging in a warehouse a la Robin Cook's Coma. Dating myself for then. Your grandmother will get that one. Sure, at the hour and 5-minute mark.
They're human jerky.
Yeah.
All right, good joke there.
Knowing me, you're probably going to know where this is going to go, but it's still a very ineffective long-term plan for the vampires, because even if you can drain them 50 times, there's no growth to this unless you find more humans and stick them in.
They put him in a medically induced coma, and you have to. Yeah, right. But they said this is just one center of many. There's a bunch of these. You have to keep harvesting these people. They have them like strapped. It's like I'm not going to get into what coma is about, but they're basically put them in a medically induced coma to have their blood keep pumping, so they always have a food supply. It's very. It's like a Walmart for vampires.
No, snap into a Slim Jim, literally.
Yeah. Use it. Use the cliche of the supporting cast members getting wiped out, so it will fuel your rage to finish the film at the hour and 13-minute mark. So while this is happening, while they're at this funky the Walmart warehouse, the distribution center, I should say, the team, the Night Stalker team, consisting of Patton Oswalt, a random driver dude, some other black dude, they all get killed. They wipe them out. Except Reynolds, they need alive. I don't know why they actually needed him alive. They do interrogate him a little later on. We're going to get to that.
Because they got to ask him about the weapon.
That's right.
Posey
I should,
Posey wants to, be with him again.
And we're going to back up real quick because Natasha Lyonne is the chemist of the Night Stalker. She developed a virus that could potentially kill every vampire on Earth if it's properly injected and distributed. But it hasn't been tested. Of course it hasn't been tested, right? It has to be tested here. I had a lot of garlic, and I just farted. This was arguably the best line in the entire film, hour and 50 minute mark.
I love, Ryan Reynolds.
It's funny.
About never gets old.
No, it doesn't. He's actually very funny. It was funny that he made this film and a very funny film comedy called Waiting in 2004. Folks, if you haven't seen Waiting, it's about working at like a Bennigan style place or TGI Fridays type place. Go rent that. It's online and streaming. You can find it just about anywhere. He is hysterically funny in that.
And
and they're both done the same year.
It's
dead accurate. It's dead accurate. And it's a shame that there it works. Everything coming out of his mouth in that film really worked well. And here, boy, oh boy, this scene, this comment excluded, of course. I thought that was actually kind of funny. But they don't play it up enough. So he's being interrogated, and boy, Reynolds is really beefcaked out for this shirtless scene, huh? Was anyone else getting a vampire Woody, Paul? A little Woody on this one? I did, man. He's looking good.
No, this movie signaled the transformation from his frat boy Van Wilder body to beefcake.
Oh, so you said he was really lean in Van Wilder? I haven't seen that in many years.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was good looking, but he beefed it up for this
movie. He's beefed up, dude. A lot of protein, guys.
I think Hugh Jackman watched this when he started doing Wolverine and was like, okay, I've got to beat that.
Yeah.
He did a good job. Let me just say
No,
that.
he did. No, he looks really good.
Hugh Jackman's like, no, honey, that's why I have the Ryan Reynolds poster on my wall. Inspiration.
I'll give Reynolds credit. He does, when he's invested in a film and he signs on, he does do 100% regardless of how bad the film is. I can't really fault him for that. And obviously it's paid off with Deadpool. It's been a huge hit, and it's turned him into a major, major star. Time and tide. But yeah, he was a little beefcake. I guess, boy. Yeah, the shirt's off for him. We simply do not have enough for a second shot. Just once I'd like to see a film where the characters have an ample amount of semen. Hey-oh! 21 minutes. I know. You're welcome. My friend.
I think you're funny, Honor.
My friends are coming to kill you. At a painfully long hour and 22 minutes in, and I certainly hope so. This pacing on this film is terrible, terrible. Is every human and vampire in the Villains Club required to have an extensive background in martial arts? Now we're getting to the BAC, folks. Big action climax. There's more karate chops in this than a racist ad for a kitchen gadget. So there's a big climax. And everybody from the security guards that are human to the vampires, the second level vampires, because it's like a video game now at the end. Everybody's has extensive martial arts capabilities. I mean, I never saw someone's karate, jiu-jitsu. I don't know, guys. You can run through it. It's all stuntman's shit. I'm tired. It's not natural. It's not organic. And it doesn't make any. It just extends the running time. Did anybody think that was too long, this last sequence?
Well,
it was, and I don't know about you, but let's say if I was a guard and there was this guy systematically mowing down everybody running at him, wouldn't you attempt to take him on, say, 1-on-5?
That's 80s action. I don't know why they're doing that in 2004 with the one at a time thing. You're right, Paul, on that one. And it goes on and on and on, folks. This is a very long climax. Have you, not the good kind. Have you seen my dog? Have you tried the lobby? I usually don't approve of animals getting killed in films. I'm going to make an exception for these vampire dogs at the hour and 32-minute mark, which were ripped off from Blade 2, right, Griff?
Yes, and actually, according to canon, the type of vampire that dog was, it should have eaten the faces off of every other vampire.
Right, that's what they do, right?
Those vampires were actually the ones who would seek out and kill other vampires.
That's from Blade 2, folks. If you guys have seen Blade 2 with Guillermo del Toro, arguably the best of the three, guys. I like the first one the best, but a lot of people really like part 2.
If you wish that The Strain was better, go just watch Blade 2 instead.
Yeah, watch Blade 2 again. Just watch Blade 2.
Could you tell that they hired a wrestler to play this guy in the scene?
Do you think?
I don't know if he was a bit too on the nose.
He was terrible. The guy, and we'll get to him. The final thing is coming up here with him because the fight scene splits up because there's Jessica Biel and they have to do one sequence and Blade, and then there's a fight sequence between between Reynolds and Triple H, and then there's another fight scene between two other people. We'll get to it. But this fight scene is the most important one. Blade, ready to die? Wearing that medieval times armor? Sure. Hour and 33-minute mark. Where better to stage a fight between ultimate good and evil than an IKEA showroom after hours? So now they bust out swords because now we have to have the obligatory Blade sword fight at the end of it, which was better done in the first film than it is here. Now they're just throwing furniture around. Was everybody like, hey, don't bust up that furniture. That IKEA shit's expensive.
They must have broken at least 2 Billy bookcases.
And Mr. Hawkins with the win on that. Hello, my name is Blade Montoya. You killed my Whistler. Prepare to die.
That would have been a good joke if it was him that killed Whistler.
All right, thanks, Paul, for popping that fucking balloon. It worked out. Yeah, he won't be back for Scary Turds.
Yes!
It's not a real fight until Dominic Purcell transforms into Darkness's less successful brother from Legend. Hour and 37-minute mark. Not many people are going to get that reference either, again, except for your grandmother, Polton, who might have saw Legend back in 85. It pretty much is Tim Curry without the horns.
I mean, it's like a vampire from the Upside Down.
All right, if you want to go to Stranger Things reference, we'll go with that.
That's a good one.
That's a little more current. Sooner or later, the thirst always wins. So drink Coke. So what I should explain to you now is that during this fight, they have this serum that has to be injected into the head vampire so he can basically belch and kill all the other vampires in the immediate areas. So Jessica Biel blows the shot by shooting the stupid arrow through a plate glass window. If she hadn't done that, she would have got it. As a result, the darkness turns around and catches the arrow, but somehow Blade manages to pick up the stupid arrow and stick it in his chest cavity. And of course, now this thing affects his, the virus is killing him. He belches out, and it becomes airborne and starts killing all the other vampires. How far can you belch? Because I don't think I can belch this far.
It wasn't even like a belch. It was like he sighed.
Yeah. It was like Contagion.
Yeah, it was. It was like, yeah. We didn't have.
And then the cells were just magically multiplying. It
was a Contagion scenario, and it didn't make any sense. But all right. So as he's dying, he says, "Sooner or later, the thirst always wins," and I have a drink Coke, which was a really lame joke after all that explanation. So I kind of blew my own material there. But all right.
If I ever make the horrible mistake of getting back on Tinder, my Tinder tagline is going to be "The thirst always wins."
That's your Tinder tag. Oh, that's awesome.
That should just be like your Instagram profile.
Why would Drake revert back to a human form when he dies when he wasn't even human to begin with at the hour and 41-minute mark? Am I correct that he was born perfect, so he was born in the latex foam outfit that we saw at the beginning of the film? Am I correct on this? So why does he die as Dominic Purcell if he's a shapeshifter? Like, why wouldn't he die when a werewolf dies, he turns back to a human because he was a human to start with? This guy was a monster to start with, so why is he transforming back into Dominic Purcell?
Well, and also, it goes, spoiler alert, to the end. Apparently,
we're at the end. We're at the end, Griff.
His consciousness can shapeshift even after he dies.
If he's the first vampire, well, he explained that he's also a daywalker, but it was like, if all of his superpowers were gone and he's like thousands of years old, wouldn't he just turn to dust anyway?
You're right, like all the other vampires.
Why would he still be there?
Yeah,
again, he was using powers after death.
I take it everyone else watched the theatrical ending then.
Oh, what did you watch? What the fuck did you watch?
There's the unrated version of the
show.
Oh,
what the hell happened? Oh, sorry. Mr. Hawkins isn't good enough to watch the normal version. All right, Hawkins, what the hell happened in the extended edition?
Well, basically, Blade faints and is captured by the FBI, but Drake's body is gone. And then just before his autopsy, he wakes up and attacks a nurse.
Oh, really?
So
Drake's still alive. There. Oh, so he's still alive? Oh, all right, we're going to go with this original ending. That's bullshit.
Oh, I see. So the
Blade
Dracula
lives.
guy's still alive. Okay.
Dracula,
I don't know if he's still alive. It's just they don't find his body. So either it's disintegrated or he's still alive. You know.
But Blade attacks the nurse. Okay.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Then there's a line saying Blade was still out there somewhere doing what he did best, avoiding taxes, yo.
Well, because
come on, cheap shot. I'm allowed it.
Right as they're starting the autopsy, they think they got Blade and that he's dead.
Right, and then he transforms into.
Right, how is that possible if he's dead?
Blade rides off in a CGI distance, leaving us with yet another crappy rap song. Plenty of unanswered questions for unmade future installments. But Hawkins actually answered a couple of those, so actually we're almost in the clear on that one. Crest on credits. Anything good in the credits?
Nothing, and it's like a cutscene like the beginning where they're doing like a bit of more action stuff during the credits for a little bit, and then the very end, you just see Blade in a muscle car driving off into the night.
Absolutely pointless.
Oh, again, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't answer anything. Even the extended version, which Hawkins just said, doesn't really answer, doesn't make any sense either. Because this is the last film, guys. They did a series which wasn't connected to the movie series.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, which wasn't with Snipes because he was in jail at the time. They made it with some other black actor, which that didn't do anything.
He's trying to get it started up again.
And do we agree this would work? We talked about this before, and I'm going to touch about it now before we wrap up. This would work as a Netflix series, maybe like 8 or 10 episodes, with Snipes. I think it would work better in that format. I really think, as part of even like the ones they're doing now with Jessica Jones and Daredevil, I think it would fit right in with that universe. I think Blade would be a great addition to like the Defenders, which I think he was a Defender. in the comics. I believe he was one of the Defenders at one point. Now I'm nerding out a little bit, but I think if you had Snipes in there with all these other characters that are doing this Defenders thing, I think it would work really well. So that's a good way if they can make that deal. But we don't need to see any more feature films or have him in the Marvel Cinematic. In fact, he can't be, right? They can't even put him in the MCU at this point.
I don't think so.
Nobody's got nothing on this one. Okay, so they just want to see it. So, but we all would like to see. I mean, I'm not opposed to watching, an elder Wesley Snipes doing the same bullshit in a 8 to 10 episode form, which I think would give his character a little bit more range.
Yeah, and like maybe he finds another Daywalker and he's like, trying to mentor. Like he becomes kind of the Whistler figure.
All right, folks, that's a Blade Trinity. Whoo, boy. There you go, folks. We took it out and played with it a lot longer than we should have. Can we flush it, ladies and gentlemen? Cool, please, Scary Turds, flush it.
Flush it with the Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh! Consider it flushed. God, you good biscuits. There you go, folks. That is it for this week. That's a Scary Turd for this week. I want to thank my lovely co-cinematic flushers. Where the hell are they? Groovy Ghoulie, Colleen Griffin, Dastardly Diabolical, Nora Crest. God damn it. Thank you, ladies. Great job, as always. Thank our extended co-flushers. I'm going to get this one right. Content creator, Boo Scary, Sara Polton, and BlokeBusters podcast host, Paul the Vampire Hawkins. Great job, everyone. Did a great job flushing this Scary Turd right down the vampire bowl. Nobody's got anything out. How
do you follow vampire?
Where do you go from there? You don't. You go anywhere. You know where we're gonna go?
They never show if vampires need to even ever go to the bathroom. That's never an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're technically dead, so
I was gonna go. No, they don't need a bathroom.
But we definitely need to go to the bathroom. And we're going to be back next week with our next Scary Turd, which is going to be awesome. Until then, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Hey, this is Nora Crest, and I want to thank you for listening this week and every week as we flush these turds down our cinematic bowl here in the restroom. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music so you don't miss a single episode. You can also follow us on Twitter and use #PodernFamily, or like us on Facebook, circle us up on Google+, and check out all of our episodes at our home restroom on the net, signalsoffury.com. Until next time, remember, we're here to flush it so you don't have to see it. I'm Nora Crest, and this has been the award-winning Soiled Restroom Cinema.